Now that the dust have settled, we're starting to gain some visibility. I have time to digest this last chapter that just recently passed, and there's so much to talk about. But let's start off with Luffy going Gear 5th against Rob Lucci. First initial thought that confusion. Cool, very cool. We get to see Gear 5th Luffy this early, but confusion. What I'm so confused about is the drawbacks of Luffy's Gear 5th is detrimental, like literally detrimental to his health. He looked like he was an old man after using it against Kaido. I don't know if you noticed, but Luffy uses a form of blood doping almost, where he accelerates his blood so he can use his muscles more rapidly and more quickly. So it makes him a lot faster, a lot stronger. It's kind of like a form of blood doping almost. So when you think about it that way, for him to be able to use it so quickly against Rob Lucci is surprising. I expected Bounce Man or even Snake Man, but Gear 5th wasn't even in my sight. So I'm kind of confused. Oda, I'm still a little confused about what happened with this battle that made you want to go Gear 5th, which probably could mean that the finish line is a lot closer than what we thought it was. Let's just say they're both maxed out. There's something happening that I don't think that after I watched the chapter and then I rewatched it, at first I had confusion, but then once I realized that Luffy is actually toying with Rob Lucci, and Rob Lucci is getting actually frustrated. You see at one point Luffy is grabbing his head and dodging Rob Lucci's punches to his head with just his arms, and he's just moving his head around. He's not even moving his body, but there's kind of like a clash, but it's also like Luffy is not even taking the fight serious. We don't know if he's taking the fight serious or not. I mean, we kind of saw what he did with Kaido, but at some point he got real serious with Kaido and was actually trying to defeat Kaido. But now you just see Luffy is kind of like just enjoying the battle. Rob Lucci versus Lucci is actually trying to kill Luffy. So this is kind of interesting to see that both these guys are awake in their awakened state. But Luffy is just kind of, being Luffy goofy and, just trying to make Rob Lucci angry or get at him. You can tell he's really getting under Rob Lucci's skin just simply by the way he's fighting. He's moving his head with his arms, for God's sakes. He's not even taking this fight seriously. Then you see him throw a punch, which is a mole pistol, and it goes into the ground and comes out of it and hits Rob Lucci in the stomach. And I guess Rob Lucci's like, what the hell is going on? He pauses the match and he's talking to Axeman. He calls him Axeman. And you can see in the background how Luffy's devil fruit ability is affecting the surroundings. So everything has been rubberized. And now it's just kind of like shaking like a wave. So it's like Luffy's abilities is crazy. Like, it's unimaginative that, Luffy is defeated by anybody other than 2 admirals or 3 admirals at the same time. I would love to see a battle between Luffy versus 2 or 3 admirals. Wow. Make it a fight. That would be a fight. And at this point, that's what it looks like it's going to take. It's going to take maybe at least 1 or 2 admirals. With that being said, now that we all know that Luffy is a true Zoan and his fruit ability is transformation, is there a hybrid form of this sun god Nika? Because we all know that you can transfer. There's transformation for Zoan abilities. There's transformation. Then there is the awakened state, which is the hybrid form, kind of like what we have with Marco. He only can transform 1 arm or 1 leg at a time, depending on what he needs at the moment. But isn't it kind of interesting how Luffy's transformation is actually killing him almost? So every time he uses this transformation, he's accelerating his heart rate and pumping blood through his body like no, but his body is rubber. So can he withstand the physical strengths that he's putting his body through? We don't know. It's unclear. And his heart rate beating like that, does that really make it okay for him to be able to transform? What kind of Zoan ability does that? We have not come across a devil fruit where its actual use harms its user. Well, we actually don't know if these abilities do harm the users or not, because it's not been told. It has not been clear to us yet. So his transformation with the clouds, his ability to wield his own ability. But all the go, that just goes to show you that Luffy has to go Gear 5th against Rob Lucci. So this begs the question, and we need to explore this. Is Lucci Admiral level? Most definitely. Lucci is Admiral level, and Luffy using Gear 5th kind of confirms this. It does confirm it. His transformation with the clouds shows his ability to wield his own ability without letting it control him. However, the clash between him and Luffy is showing Haki clashing against each other, literally, which means that Lucci at some point has honed his Haki abilities, allowing him to fight Luffy one-on-one, which is important because we all know that Haki and Devil Fruits combined is pretty much some of the most potent, strongest attacks in One Piece. Now, I know we got the Gold D Roger standard, but we haven't met Gold D Roger standard just as of yet. So we got to kind of hold off on this Haki greater than Devil Fruits debate. Just for now. Believe me, just for now. This is Oda telling us to sit tight. Luffy has yet to reach his pinnacle, but rather he is still climbing to the top, and he have hurdles he must overcome and go through before claiming the title Pirate King. Now, 𝙲𝚙𝚎 on the other hand, is heading toward Egghead Island to back up CPO, or rather to destroy the island. You know how the Navy does it. They seem to break and shatter things and then just sweep it under the rug, but who cares? Then, when they're confronted about it, they're like, okay, so what? Who are you? But this just goes to show you that the battle between 𝙲𝚙𝚎 and Zoro is coming quicker than I thought it would. I always thought these two would be fighting again because Zoro, let's be honest, guys, Zoro owes 𝙲𝚙𝚎 from 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚎𝚏. He owes him big time. And the Zoro and Fujitora fight, that was kind of a tease of Zoro being who he was. He's pretty much way stronger than where he was back then before they were trying to head to Fishman Island. But it's happening. The second in command is going to be clashing with the Admiral, the OG Admiral 𝙲𝚙𝚎. This guy's ruthless, so it'll be nice to see him fight against Zoro, at least clash with him, so he can gain the respect from the Navy like he does, because Zoro is at Admiral level, in my opinion. Now, another thing that we learned about these Devil Fruits is that they possess key elements to their creation, which is Haki, aka the will of other people's desires. Now, I had a theory that Devil Fruits were created based on the ancient civilizations, people wanting to explore the new world a lot more in depth. So they had to figure out a way to somehow create tools where they're able to explore all these tundra-like landscapes and difficult landscapes. It's just actually hard to survive unless you're actually an element. But I think this is something that we're definitely going to have to explore more in the future, and I'm willing to bet that the answers will be found on the last island, Laugh Tale. With that being said, this is just another intro to what we've seen so far, and it's just keep on building, and it just feels like the finish line is right around the corner from One Piece. Oda is telling us that this story is coming to an end, and it's a lot sooner than we thought it was. Because after Egghead Island, I'm sure they'll be off to the last island, which is the island of the giants. And they're going to be confronted with much more bigger and pressing issues. I think the final battle will be taking place either there or elsewhere, because after this, the Straw Hats will pretty much be declaring war on the government, because they are on a government island again. Once again, we found Luffy on a government island. So this is how the war starts. Luffy invades another government island. They're going to consider it an invasion, and it's going to be treasonous from Dr. Vegapunk. And the admirals, the fleet admiral, will pretty much condemn Vegapunk to death along with the Straw Hats crew. This will then, by far, they will do everything in their power to stop the Straw Hats and get rid of them as of now, before anything turns into something they can't handle. But right now, I think the Navy feels like it's still something they can control before it gets out of hand. So they just rather pretty much do it right now. Let's go ahead and wipe him out before Luffy even gets too far. He's young. Let's go ahead and get rid of him right now. That's my thought about it so far. I don't know, guys, but you let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the section below. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like this video for me. And until next time, I'll see you later.